It was a fairly average school day, but one that would affect the direction of my life regardless. Mrs. Klein's first grade class was heading down through the beige hallways of the elementary school toward the library. This class took these trips regularly, about once every month. They would have reading time and listen to the librarian or learn nursery rhymes. Among these students was 7-year-old me, and I was on a mission. I had never read a book on my own before, and I'm not talking about picture books or little children's stories. I had my eyes set on reading my first real chapter book. No pictures to help me out and no teacher reading it to me. I was going to be reading it all by myself. I was a stubborn young child, and as soon as we got to the library and were released to go and peruse the old wooden shelves on our own, I scampered over with my little legs to one of the sections. This section of the library was made for new readers, shelves full of short chapter books designated specifically for and on the correct reading level for young elementary school students. The rugs were colorful with numbers and letters and slightly dirty and crusty from years and years of use. The walls were decorated with paper art to make this little corner of the library look like a whimsical little forest. I knelt down in front of the books, scouring across the spines of them, all lined up in perfect, meticulous order. What I was looking for exactly, I didn't know. I was just going to browse until I found something that caught my eye. The Magic Treehouse section was in front of me. I pulled books and put them back until I found the one, the first chapter book I was going to ever read. Typically, you would remember the Magic Treehouse series being about these kids going on fictitious adventures and everything. This wasn't the book I picked out. The Magic Treehouse had a different series called Magic Treehouse Fact Tracker. This was the series I had picked from, and the book I picked? Sea Monsters. It's funny looking back on this now, due to the fact that I don't enjoy nonfiction reading and I have thalassophobia, the fear of large bodies of water. But that book opened a door and set the course of my entire life so far. As soon as I checked the book out from the library, I devoured the words on the pages eagerly. I started reciting facts about sea creatures to my friends and family, going on and on about giant squids. I finished reading the book, and I was so proud of myself. I made sure to tell my grandpa all about it when we went out to dinner with him. He was proud of me, and I was excited. My love of reading sprouted from this book, and I started to feel an inkling of passion for it, even at such a young age. I decided to start writing. I enjoyed reading so much, I figured that I would like writing too. We were given prompts and assignments in my first grade class. Put some stickers on paper or look at an image and make up a short story about it. Fairly simple and straightforward, but I was anything but simple and straightforward. I would wear down my pencil until there was nothing but a short stub left, writing on pages and pages of paper about stories that I thought would enthrall my audience, my teacher and her parent volunteers. My mother got a note from one of the parent volunteers telling her to read the things I got sent home with that I wrote because her kid was quite imaginative. I found a purpose in writing. It was something that I enjoyed doing and something that I thought was important. I grew up, my writing improving and growing as I aged. From elementary school to middle school to high school, it was a constant in my life. It was something I had always loved to do. I changed my mind about my future occupation so many times, but I always circled back to writing. I was drawn to it ever since that fateful day in first grade when I picked up that original chapter book. I believed that I was marked to always have that desire to create something that I would enjoy writing and that others would find captivating to read. And now here I am, 12 years later, after that initial event. I've won scholarships for my writing, pursued it as a hobby in my free time, and gone off to college with the dream of being a published author one day. That one simple impulse to read something and the mundane action of going to the library on a normal school day was something that allowed me to discover the love and fondness I have for reading and writing. It goes to show that just picking up a book can give you a purpose. In other cases, maybe it's not a book, but rather a paintbrush, a camera, a keyboard, a spatula. The list can go on, but sometimes even something elementary and ordinary can be a driving force behind an entire life. We all have our passions and purposes, things we found by looking within ourselves and reflecting, and a lot of these things were sparked by what other people may consider an insignificant event. For me, that event was going to the library on a typical day in first grade. That doesn't stop these events from being important, no matter how small or simple they are. 7-year-old me having the desire and want to read a book on my own was an event that was a catalyst that drove the purpose of my life and sent me forward with ambition into my future.